Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome, everyone. This is our 10th meeting. We're a little over halfway through the semester, which is nice. We got some big deadlines coming up. As for the agenda, we have a couple major design updates I got to talk to you guys about. I had a meeting with the leads yesterday and discussed some things that we need to change going forward, some things that might be added or taken away from the design. Nothing something quite major, but nothing for like down to the individual level you guys need to worry about anything crazy. After that, we have the GoFundMe, sub-team updates, and then closing statements, so the usual stuff. So as for the major updates, we have a big design change. We discussed that currently our rocket is too heavy. Current mass estimations have us at 56 pounds, which is fat. And I mean like hella big. And a lot of that is coming from our airframe, right? The nose cone alone we've selected currently weighs 10 pounds. And so we talked to all the team leads yesterday, Garrett and I, and we discussed if there's the possibility of potentially changing our airframe from a 7.5-inch diameter to a 6-inch diameter, because there's no in between. If there was like 6.5, we would do 6.5, but there is no in between, because for some reason, when you get to 6, the next step is obviously 7.5, not 7, not 6.5, no incrementation, just big or bigger, right? This has been discussed thoroughly. We talked to the two teams that it would impact the most, which would be payload and payload integration. And they told us that it is possible. They might have to redesign some things, lengthen some sections, but it is possible, it is doable. And so payload and payload integration will be meeting with their teams to discuss this a little more in depth. And if there's any issues, let me know as soon as possible. Following this, the air brakes. Our air brake system is currently behind schedule. The structures team that's been working on it has been absolutely swamped because school has absolutely destroyed their life. And so they're trying to recover from that. And so they're slightly behind schedule. They're hitting all the main milestones that are required for PDR, but because they're doing that, the air brakes were on low priority. And so I spoke to Gary about this, and I told him that the air brakes need to have a finalized complete design no later than October 28th. If it's not designed completely, I'm talking about electrical wiring diagram, component selection, trade matrices for component selection, finalized design, right? Updated mass statement and volume space, right? Then if all of these criteria aren't met, then we're going to be canceling the air brakes because they are not a requirement via the competition. It is something that a challenge we impose upon ourselves to ensure we reach our target apogee. But currently, the air brakes are acting more of a hindrance and slowing productivity down and weighing down the rocket because the current mass estimates for them are 4 pounds, which is kind of ridiculous. But if the air brakes do get completed by this internal deadline for the complete PDR design review, then we will be shifting the air brakes design and manufacturing away from structures and developing a new team strictly to focus on the air brakes because the structures team has been swamped. And I've spoken with lead, and we both agree, Josh, Garrett, and I both agree that it would be a good idea to dedicate an entire team to the air brakes. Probably should have done that sooner, but we thought it was going to be a little easier than it actually is. So go figure. Other than that, we're going to move on to the GoFundMe. It has stayed exactly the same since last week. Oh, actually, that's a lie. It went up $5. Josh, our structures team lead, donated. What a kind guy. Give us $5. Everything helps. Please, guys, please tell everyone. I know it feels weird asking for money, but this is a project you're working on. It's something you're passionate about. If the people care about you, they should be supporting you. This is the project looks great on your resume. And, it's just basically the more money we have, the more people can travel. Or if we don't travel, the more team merch we're going to have. You guys want those dad hats? Got to have the money, because otherwise currently we only have enough budget for our entire system and the outreach as well. Following this, I'm gonna pass it off to Nick for payload.
Hey everybody, so some updates on the payload system. So the payload needs to be slightly redesigned for the new launch vehicle diameter. So that means either changing the size of the frame or designing folding and flip out arms. I'm going to be talking to the payload team about this after general meeting ends today. So payload, let's hop over to Discord after the meeting. We've gotten some arm test print done, and we will be doing some testing of the different filament types. I've already typed up the test procedure for that. So I will also be talking with my team members that are working on the 3D printing for that. Electronic component selection is mostly complete. It was complete, and then launch vehicle diameter got updated. So now we got to look at some new motors. And we're just going to continue on PDR writing. So yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Sorry about the extra workload, but it be
No
how it
worries.
be. Moving on, we got Andre with payload integration.
Yep. My little bro's practicing the trumpet in the background, so if you could hear that, you're gonna have to deal with it. Sorry. But so for PLI, yeah, we have a small redesign of the PLI system after seeing that terrain, which kind of changed the way we were gonna go about ejecting the payload. So basically, instead of having like a jettison barrel, we're just gonna have an extruding nose cone system. This is nice because it's self-contained. Nothing's actually leaving the launch vehicle, and it's a lot lighter than it previously was. Like before, our estimates were from like 3 to 4 kilograms. We did finish so even though we did a modification to our design, most of the electronic components and the actual like workings of the system stayed the same. So we were able to finish the wiring schematics and failure mode analysis, courtesy of the lovely members on PLI team. We're starting to test print for the actual bearing system just to verify its functionality and make sure, kind of it has an ease of assembly when we're trying to put it together. And yeah, from there, we're just kind of continuing going into PDR writing. So we do have to update change our design a little bit just to tweak for the new launch vehicle diameter, which shouldn't be too crazy. And then we will be meeting with a payload after this meeting just to talk about the new system and some of the implications. So anyone from PLI in this meeting, please move over to, little payload meeting after to talk about it. Yeah, that's about it.
Sweet. Sounds good. My new design looks sexy. It looks like some Capsule Corp sick. It looks dope. I'm excited for that. Moving forward, we have Josh with structures.
Yeah, so this week just been continuing with the PDR requirements in terms of what we got done. I know we have the airframe done, the fins and the cone, fin mount, but they need to be updated for the new diameter. And I just finished the ballast CAD, but I need to cut off the tip and finish the cap. And I'm gonna get started on the camera mount. And yeah, as mentioned before, we've been absolutely swamped, and we are looking at whether doing the air brake design is actually feasible. And Nathan's already mentioned requirements meetings. And yeah.
Yep. Moving forward, we have analysis. Boomy.
Yes, here's our most recent architecture. You can see the most glaring statements here is the wet mass and the apogee. As mentioned before, 56 pounds. It's extremely heavy, and the apogee is very on the low end, with 4,300 feet. But we completed our CD calcs. Hopefully that would be slightly adjusted with the new airframe. We did some fin flutter analysis, concluded that these fins that we have that's currently shown, they will fail, and we've been trying to use other fins, but we need those dimensions, and we've been emailing the companies. So we've just been on standby to get those emails back with those dimensions. So that's kind of frustrating currently with our team. I'm just waiting on other people, but what's coming forward is remodeling the architectures for the 6-inch diameter, updating the weights and dimensions with each component and subsection. And as well as this redesign, hopefully we can have a greater option of fins and motors to use, because currently we are only limited to 3 motors. And so hopefully with the 6-inch diameter, we can, broaden our options to reach a higher apogee. And that's currently where we stand.
Okay, sweet. Yeah. That 4,300 makes us quite uncomfortable
Mhm.
because, as we mentioned, it's pretty low. The requirement for the competition is 4,000. If we don't meet a minimum of 4,000, we don't get scored for the launch vehicle category, which is 100 points of possible. So it's a big category, and we just want to ensure that we're going to meet that requirement. And also because our final apogee has to be locked in by PDR. That was a big change they made this year from last year. So it's been a lot of pressure on analysis to have accurate math statements and accurate apogee calculations.
Yeah. And have our hand calcs to be very thorough.
Yep. And then we're being left on red by a bunch of suppliers
Mhm.
because it's great, life's great.
Yeah.
But we move on. Following this, we have John with avionics. Take it away, John.
Hey, everybody. So for avionics, we're just going to continue our PDR writing, and we need to update the CAD a little bit. So we just need to make some slight modifications to the CAD and show, we kind of made our sled smaller for AV Bay. And one more thing for the PDR writing is the altimeter options, like specifically the Stratologger is out of stock as far as I can see. But we have one already, but just in case like something happens, subscale launch, it fails or gets damaged, we need a backup. So we're just looking at, a backup for the backup, I guess you could say. And then orientation of the AV bay, we're trying to decide what the best option is still. We kind of like decided that lines would be the simplest, like maybe a color coded system on like the bulkheads itself and inside the airframe. And then you just align that and it will give you a general direction to make sure it's going in the same way every time. But we're considering other options still. We're going to meet later today and discuss that too. And that's about it for avionics right now.
Okay, sweet. Yeah. Sorry I gave you a little extra work with the slight redesign, but if necessary. Moving forward, we have Gio presenting for parachutes.
Yeah, so hello everyone. So parachutes is continuing to do PDR writing. We're deciding what would be the best dual deployment method, whether that be in the avionics bay or in the where the engine is located, where we would have the main and drogue in the middle section, or the main in the middle section and the drogue in the last section. We're going to be researching shock cord length and material. And because of the updated calc, so we're testing new apogees at we're testing our calculations through MATLAB, and we should be getting a lower landing time. And yeah, we're just waiting on those weights.
Yeah, analysis will get you those updated weights as soon as possible. The only thing the only thing that's changing is the airframe weights and potentially the motor. So some stuff might be a little up in the air right now, but yeah.
Sounds good.
Cool. And then after this, we have systems. Anthony.
Hey everyone. So yeah, we're just pretty much continuing PDR tasks from last week, and we're going to start scheduling testing for various sub teams. So pretty much whatever sub team needs a lab, wind tunnel testing, or structures lab, or whatever it may be, let your liaison know. And unless you know how you have a connect and you can get it in faster, then of course do that. If not, let us know and we will get you into your testing facility that you need.
Yes. And then also, I need to go over the fly sheet with you.
Oh yeah. I almost forgot about the flash sheet. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna mention at the lead speedy. What's up?
Oh,
But yeah, we'll go
My
over
bad.
it separately.
all right, cool.
Yep. And then last but not least, we have outreach. Oh wait, back. Haha. Angela, outreach.
Sorry, it wasn't letting me unmute. So we're continuing to reach out to schools. So please, if you have any schools in mind that you want us to consider, we're trying to reach out to as many that we know of in our local communities. But if you have your younger siblings or something in schools and you want us to reach out to them, please let me know. It doesn't have to be really close because we do have the option for the Zoom, like the Zoom meeting. So just let me know. And then here's an example of the sneak peek. If you want to give that to somebody to try to pique their interest, let me know and I'll send you the PDF. It has like a very brief, explanation of what's going on for the middle school and elementary schools. We're still branching out with the social media, so tell everyone you know to follow that Instagram account. And then as a side note, if there's something that somebody is interested in presenting for the STEM outreach, like presentations, let me know. Like I know some people know like C++ and stuff like that, and you're kind of interested in letting people know about that, let me know. And following up with that, just don't hesitate to contact me and ask me any questions if you have anything.
Sweet. Yeah. Guys, please reach out to like your high schools, middle schools, even if you hated it, just be like, yo, this is pretty cool. This is what I'm doing now. Like, let us do a presentation for you, kind of thing. Anything helps. And then last but not least, Alex is gonna go over the closing statements.
So what's going on, guys? Just to summarize, we got the GoFundMe again. Please just share that, post that. You can even just share the NSL Instagram, like in your story or something. And then if they click on that, the GoFundMe links in the bio for the NSL Instagram. Internal due date for PDR, it's in 10 days. So guys, hopefully you guys have started writing. If not, definitely start writing this weekend. New members, please add your date of birth to the team info. In the team info drive, there's a contact information sheet. Just go in there and add your date of birth so we can send this sheet over to SolidWorks so we can get this 3D experience. Do your hours, guys, please. There's people who haven't done like their hours for like from 3 weeks ago, from 4 weeks ago. Just hop on that, knock it out really quickly. It takes only like 2 minutes. And senior project credit students, you guys have to help us with the stitching and the proofreading and the double verifying of the PDR. It is part of your grade. You guys are getting graded in this class. Remember that. So just please help us out with that. And we'll be good to go.
Yep. And then I wanted to add one more thing. I know there was a lot of questions about the senior project credit students about getting added for the Aero specifically, getting added to Dr. Edberg's EGR 4820, 4830. I emailed Amy. I sent her the list. She has then sent the list to Dr. Edberg to verify that these are all the students that need it. And so he just needs to give his okay. And I will be emailing Amy again on Monday, checking up on that just to see. But just so you guys know, I have contacted Amy and we're just waiting on Dr. Edberg's approval. So hopefully we don't wait too long. I'm going to be kind of pressuring them to give it to us as soon as possible because I know it's not fun waiting for an ad code. Other than that, guys, everyone's been doing good work. We got a deadline coming up, but we should be fine. We're pretty close to being done. From what I hear from everyone, a lot of the actual design work is done, maybe just some tweaks here or there, but yeah, I would definitely, like Alex said, start writing, if not today, this weekend, tomorrow, get started on it because it is a lot. And if you have any questions on what needs to be filled out, the systems team has created a verification matrix for PDR. So those are all the topics that you and your section have to hit. And I believe they've broken it down for payload criteria, launch vehicle criteria, and recovery criteria. So just remember to check that out to make sure you're hitting all the required information. And then also, we forgot to mention this, but we will be setting up a PowerPoint in the OneDrive for the PDR presentation because we do have to present PDR to NASA. And we will also be presenting it to Northrop and Lockheed. So we do have to do that presentation. So don't forget about that. I will post when the PowerPoint is up on the team announcements. Other than that, guys, you guys free to go? Yeah.